Yes, this was something that we had planned on anyway. When I did a deep dive a couple of months ago, there were some irregularities that were found, some inefficiencies that were found, and those have to be addressed. It's the same kind of thing that I would do as president. You know, there's a lot of money being wasted, a lot of inefficiency in the government, and just because you have the funds to continue that inefficiency doesn't mean that you should do it.
Well, that was Dr. Ben Carson on Fox News earlier explaining why his campaign just cut a whole lot of their staffers. Now, this move coming after the GOP hopefuls finished a disappointing fourth in Iowa. Meanwhile, Bernie Sanders is just raking it in. He's got a windfall of cash. Get this, $3 million just 24 hours after the Iowa caucus, and a self-funded Donald Trump taking to Twitter blaming Iowans for his loss there, saying, "I don't believe I have been given any credit for the voters for self-funding my campaign. The only one I'll keep doing, but not worth it." Joining me now, Lee Carter, Betsy Woodruff, and Richard Goodstein. Betsy, yeah, I'm really worried about Ben Carson's campaign here, and I think this is something that's been sort of rumored for a while. He's raised a lot of money, but he spends a lot of money doing it, and he's also spent a lot of money in there, and to the point where he got rid of a bunch of staff. And I think this also played a role with those rumors that maybe his campaign was over. But he's in a tough position right now, isn't he?
Without a doubt, and I think part of the reason that the rumors the Cruz camp sort of propagated on the night of the Iowa caucuses, part of the reason those rumors got so much legs because it was so believable. It was so believable that Ben Carson might potentially be leaving Iowa. I mean, look, there's no argument that his campaign has been poorly managed. There is so much evidence of the campaign spending significant amounts of money on extremely fancy hotels and steak dinners and other luxury items that most campaigns don't spend cash on. If you just look through their disclosure forms, it's quite telling. So look, and the point that Ben Carson made on Fox today is kind of ironic. It's like he compared his campaign to the federal government. He compared his campaign's waste to the government's waste. That's a real weird messaging point to be making if you're trying to say that you're a fixer-upper.
Well, listen, he noticed that it was leaking air and he filled it up. So the fact that it was leaking under him, but, you know, I guess we forget at that point. Richard, Bernie Sanders, in the meantime, is an absolute juggernaut. He has sworn off PACs. Coming out of Iowa, Hillary Clinton had $48 million to raise out of PACs, super PACs, or whatever on her behalf. Bernie Sanders, zero. He and Donald Trump are the only ones who are completely ignoring all the PACs, and I think that helps both candidates.
Well, the jury's certainly out on whether it's helped Trump, who's now complaining about the fact that he didn't spend more money. This for a guy who never has missed cutting the best deal ever, that somehow he missed something pretty fundamental the first time he ran a race in politics, is that you kind of actually need to invest in a positive outcome. In terms of Bernie Sanders, he's certainly playing that up, the fact that he does not have a super PAC going for him. I mean, the fact of the matter is Hillary Clinton raised a little less, but she actually raised money this quarter and last quarter for the Democratic National Committee, which Bernie Sanders has not raised a cent for yet, because I think she's looking down the road. And honestly, I don't think there's many of your viewers who should go to bed thinking that Bernie Sanders is likely to be the Democratic nominee, which is why she can raise money with a clean conscience for the DNC, and he's just kind of focused on himself.
Well, you know what? I know you experts have already figured this all out, but I got to tell you something. I don't know. I think Bernie Sanders is formidable, but here's the thing. Jeb Bush, he came into this thing with a vault full of cash. I mean, I don't know what he spent it on, a lot of ads that haven't worked, but he's still sitting on a bunch of cash. What does a candidate like that do? Does the cash undermine him doing the right thing and probably getting out of this race?
I just want to say bless his heart. It is just so sad to watch him right now. And
did you see that thing when he asked the audience to clap?
So sad. It's just so sad. I think the right thing for him to do, he does have a bunch of cash, but if he doesn't place in anywhere in the top 3 in New Hampshire, he needs to go home.
What does he do with that cash?
He needs to put it towards a super PAC and get behind somebody else. And I don't know who that's going to be, because he's really burnt the bridge with him and Rubio, but it's going to be...
In finance, we always say follow the money. In crime, they always say follow the money. Does the money follow the candidate that's going to win, or does the money create the candidate that's going to win?
The money follows the candidate that's going to win. I really believe that. I think that you see so much momentum towards the people that are winning. That's where people are going. If you see Sanders right now, he's got momentum. Money's going his direction. People are donating right now to Rubio because he's getting momentum. There's money follows leaders.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.